Atomic Monsoon. Welcome to the Monsoon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Atomic Monsoon. I am one of your hosts, Stephanie. I am here with...
My name is Josh.
My name used to be Andy.
What happened to it?
It still is, but it used to be too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, good to know. All right. So, last week, we ended our episode on an interesting note of, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Now, I know we're going to get into our nerdy news here in just a moment, but I thought we'd go ahead and settle this now, since all of you have been waiting so patiently for this. Here's how I'm thinking we do this. We'll each let you guys, I can speak English, I swear. Okay. We'll each let one of you guys kind of give your case, and then I'll give my case, and then I'll reveal the poll that we put on Facebook and see what did people say.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, Andy, I know this whole thing started because you said you didn't feel it was a Christmas movie, so I'll go ahead and let you start out, man.
Yeah, so let me start everything here. I appreciate the joke sentiment that Die Hard is a Christmas movie because it's a movie that takes place on Christmas. I think that's hilarious. I do think that that is a funny, hey, look at this, Die Hard is a movie. That's cool. I have no problem with it as a funny point of reference. However, there are people that have taken it way too seriously and are now adamant and almost violent about it being a Christmas movie. And I'm like, no, man, no.
Yeah, when people take it too serious, it has to be, okay, yeah,
right.
That's fair.
Calm down.
You're not joking about it. Yeah,
so we'll start there.
Yeah,
but I will say that I vehemently oppose Die Hard being a Christmas movie for the same reasons that I disagree with Batman Returns and Gremlins being a Christmas movie. And I would even say Home Alone 2. And it comes down to the way that I define a Christmas movie. Christmas has to be essential to the plot of the movie. If you can change one or two lines of dialogue, or you can just set the movie in another part of the year and it doesn't affect the movie really, not a Christmas movie in my eyes.
Okay, but in that aspect, it is central to the plot of Die Hard because they wouldn't be able to do the raid on Nakatomi Tower if they didn't have the lax police response time, which is central to the plot. The fact that the building was going to mostly be empty,
right,
aside from the few Christmas party people, the security, things like that weren't there, which it doesn't really work on Halloween. There's still going to be security guards there on Halloween. Response time for the cops is still going to be the same thing. It's not going to be the same on, Easter. You're not going to have that gigantic amount of the LA police force out on leave at the same time. You're not going to have those slow response times, and still you're going to have the security on there with Nakatomi Tower. It is a central point to the story, and the book that it's based on was very, very much more Christmas than the actual movie was. I mean, it was very, very heavily into the plot of the book as well.
So I have not read the book that Die Hard is based on. I'll give that up free and clear right now. But I would push back and I would say, why couldn't Die Hard take place on Thanksgiving and still be under all of the same situation? Lack security, office is going to be mostly empty. There would probably be a Thanksgiving potluck because a lot of offices do stuff like that. So there'd still be kind of the party situation, or Independence Day, or really any of the bank holidays.
I mean, if you're saying that this also took place in LA, so there's probably a Dodgers game going on. I mean, that one could work too. They're all having a viewing party at the office.
Right.
So even with Thanksgiving, though, you don't have as many people that will leave for extended amounts of time. You don't have as many people taking the time off for it because a lot of it's we're just going to eat dinner and then go back to work the next day.
That's true.
Whereas Christmas, it's one of those things, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, everybody gets that time off.
I mean,
everybody's traveling. Even if you're not traveling, you're staycationing at home.
But I'm saying it could still work. The movie would be as plausible at Thanksgiving. I feel. I don't think that there's any reason that it has to be
set. Well, and Eve also has the point of John McClane traveling from one side of the country to the other to come see his family for Christmas, whereas he's not going to get the extended time off for Thanksgiving that he's getting for the Christmas holiday.
I think you underestimate how much people travel, how much people in big cities travel for Thanksgiving.
Well, possibly, but I don't feel like this is one of those things where a detective especially is going to, I'm going to take my vacation time for Thanksgiving to go all the way to L.A.
Fair enough.
Whereas, hey, you know what? In the middle of December, at Christmas time, I can go see my daughter in L.A. where it's nice versus New York, where it's snowy and miserable and terrible. I can go out to LA for Christmas time and take my vacation.
I'm not saying anything about LA. I'm taking nothing away from the location of the movie. I honestly feel that in the case of Die Hard, in the case of Batman Returns, in the case of Gremlins, in the case of Home Alone 2, it doesn't matter what time of year that movie is set. With a couple of quick changes to lines of dialogue, you can take the Christmas out of that movie, and it doesn't affect the overall plot of some of the details. Yes, right? You'd have to rework, okay, why is Bruce Willis traveling? Hey, maybe it's his kid's birthday, right? Parents travel for birthdays. Parents travel across the country for birthdays all the time. That's absolutely something that happens, right?
But
maybe
you
it's
go
just
fall to the thing where it's, okay, well, if say it was a birthday and he's coming over there, well, then why would Nakatomi Tower be practically empty and there'd be a lax response time for the police and all these other things that have to factor in that you have to throw in there together, that these all have to be happening for this plot to be able to happen.
So it's easier on Christmas.
Even on a bank holiday, though, you're not going to have as many people gone. Even on bank holidays, most places still operate. Like, I mean, ourselves here, bank holiday doesn't matter. We're still operating.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Christmas Eve is a bank holiday, but we're still going to be here Christmas Eve.
We're actually not here Christmas Eve.
Oh,
we actually have Christmas Eve.
Engineers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, buddy.
But it's and just take that as a case in point.
Sure.
Not everybody has those times off. Whereas, it's a bank holiday, but you're going to be sitting there with the police department. Yeah, they most of them have the time off. They have restricted holiday times and things like that.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying the movie still works. Again, you have to change a couple of details, but the story of Bruce Willis going through the tower and saving the day from Alan Rickman still works without Christmas.
And let me add a little 2 cents here. Yes, it wouldn't be the same Die Hard that came from the book. And yes, it would be, it'd be a very different story if it was not set during Christmas time. But one thing I will point out, and this is something that I consider, it can vary in whether that's a Christmas movie or not, is does it have the Christmas magic? Die Hard doesn't have that for me. It's just an action film during the holidays.
Well, see, this is one of those things is that if you actually go through and watch Die Hard, a lot of Christmas movies that are considered traditional Christmas movies have very few even Christmas songs in them. Die Hard has several Christmas songs in it, especially compared to movies like It's a Wonderful Life. That's considered like one of the all-time Christmas movies. And it only has a small, tiny bit of the end of the movie that has anything to do with Christmas, whereas Die Hard takes place entirely during Christmas.
I would say that It's a Wonderful Life is not a Christmas movie.
decorations all the way through it.
Yeah.
Well, see, but that's considered one of the all-time great.
But the reason that It's a Wonderful Life is considered a Christmas movie is because network television could get it really cheap, because they had to fill time, and they thought, well, we can't get our new live shows in the 1950s and 60s when TV was new, right? And they're like, okay, cool. What movies are kind of popular that we can show every year? And It's a Wonderful Life is one of them. So the reason that It's a Wonderful Life is considered a Christmas movie is absolutely due to its television exposure.
But that doesn't take away from the fact that so many people watch that every Christmas and consider it a Christmas movie.
I know.
It is to an overwhelming majority a Christmas movie.
And my pushback to that is still go watch the episode of That 70s Show where they spoof it, where it has nothing to do with Christmas whatsoever.
IMDb's number 1 and 2 movies for the top 100 Christmas movies of all time are...
It's a Wonderful Life and Die Hard.
And number 2 is Die Hard?
I understand.
So
I understand.
This is something that baffles me here. So every Christmas, I actually don't watch either film every Christmas because one, It's a Wonderful Life and like Miracle on 34th Street was movies that my grandparents always watched, and me as the kid was like, no, throw Rudolph on, throw Frosty on, I want Grinch. That was me as a kid. But, in that's even like translated over to me as an adult. Like the movies I consider a Christmas film are the ones that play during the 25 days of Christmas on Freeform, which is the old ABC Family, which includes The Grinch, Rudolph, Frosty the Snowman, Miracle on 34th Street. Even The Nightmare Before Christmas I consider a Christmas movie because of the fact that they try to take over the freaking holiday. Mm-hmm. And it's also a Halloween film, too. So I think it's interesting that these two are number 1.
See, for me, every Christmas, it's one of those things we see on TV in my family, and we end up watching them every single year, is Scrooged and
my parents watch that one.
Because they almost inevitably play one after the other.
Sure. Scrooged, absolutely a Christmas movie, because you take Christmas out of that movie and it falls apart. It doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't.
Right? But I feel the same
way about Die Hard, because there's so many things that these characters have to be here at this time for this thing, and then Christmas is the thing that puts all those pieces together.
I still feel that terrorists taking over a giant tower absolutely could happen at any other time of year, and you can futz details for any of the other reasons for characters to be where they are. And I think that the adventure movie of John McClane going through, is it Nakatomi Towers? I think that movie still works if it's not set at Christmas.
See, and I feel like the Die Hard 2 is a perfect example of it's got all those elements, but it has nothing to do with Christmas.
Right.
It's just in an airport in the middle of winter.
Right.
And that one works because it's just a snowed-in airport. Whereas I feel like the first Die Hard, it's not going to work if you throw it on Thanksgiving. Well, then you have the, like I said, police response time, people in the building, the security guards don't have Christmas off. You know, just things like that to where there's all the elements that you have to get to put everything together. It's a jigsaw puzzle, and without that centerpiece of Christmas in the center, you're not going to have the full picture.
And I agree that it works easier on Christmas, but I'm still not convinced that it has to be Christmas.
I mean, Christmas is pretty much a setting point in the movie. It's a setting point, and it's a reason. Jokingly, it's a reason for the season. It's a reason. It's a reason for a lot of things that happen. But if you actually lay out the plot of Die Hard, it is not the driving force that leads to Alan Rickman falling off the building in the end.
Right, and let's go through the other movies I listed. Right, like if you take Christmas out of Batman Returns, right, that movie absolutely still works. It's not winter necessarily. I mean, you can still set it in winter. You can set it in January, right? And it's the same movie. Nothing about that movie changes if it's not Christmas. Gremlins, a little trickier because, the Mogwai was a gift for Billy, right?
But I mean, it could start on Christmas and then it just goes after it.
Or it could just be his birthday.
That too.
Right? And, again, it works easier in winter because that's where the movie's set. But, all right, you just, again, set it in January, February. Maybe it's a Valentine's gift, right? Not a huge twist in anything about the plot of that movie. The first Home Alone, I would absolutely agree, is a winter movie. Christmas, give or take, but it has to be winter because the neighbor has the shovel, and why does he have the shovel if he's not shoveling snow? So, okay, and that's, again, the big Deus Ex Machina at the end of the movie. Also, the wet bandits are robbing the neighborhoods while everyone's away on Christmas vacation. Arguing my own point, people don't vacation like that on Thanksgiving, although they could. They could, but probably, to your point, not as many.
Not for a week at a time.
Also,
right.
Why is the entire block gone for Christmas? I don't understand that. Like, wouldn't there still be people there?
Because that's a rich-ass neighborhood, and they can travel wherever they want.
That
was
is
another
true.
central point of the story was that it was a rich neighborhood with everybody traveling out of town, and they were able to sit there and they were able to go through and mark all the houses that were going to be
This is why you house sit people.
So the first Home Alone, absolutely Christmas movie. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, doesn't have to be at all, right? I mean, the family, they're traveling to France for Christmas to visit relatives or whatever, and that's cool. But again, Thanksgiving, birthday, retirement, holiday, like whatever other holiday. Home Alone 2 does not have. It's easier if it's Christmas, much like Die Hard. Doesn't have to be.
France is the first film. Miami is the second.
Okay. Well, either way.
Yeah.
Families traveling doesn't have to necessarily be on Christmas.
And like I told you, like the only thing about that film that may make or break it is the Christmas tree at the very end, because that's how she was able to find Kevin, is because she knew he had a thing for Christmas trees.
Right.
The only way that would get around it is if like they still had it up after New Year's, or maybe they, they're just now putting it up, or maybe he just went to Rockefeller Center because he knew that's where it would be during the holidays, even though it's not the holidays.
Or Kevin has a thing for the Statue of Liberty and goes there, or has a thing for the Empire State Building
and goes there.
You can write the Christmas tree thing out with one line of dialogue.
It's very true.
So.
Do you have anything else to add?
Well, I mean, tons of things, but we're just going to be going around in circles here because neither of us are ever going to budge on this.
Right.
Though,
so
we've got
other things.
I'm willing to be wrong. In fact, I was last week. Last week when I mentioned potentially throwing the Super Skrulls in the Captain Marvel movie, I said that I thought the Super Skrulls' first appearance was Fantastic Four 37. Turns out I was wrong. It was Fantastic Four 18, but Fantastic Four 37 was the first appearance of Tarnax for the Skrull homeworld. So I was close, but I was wrong.
Super easy, forgivable mistake to make.
Sure.
I mean, there's 60 years of Fantastic Four comic books.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go back though to the Die Hard thing real quick and just kind of wrap it up in a nice little box with a bow, like it's Christmas.
Yeah.
I think honestly, it's the matter. I think it's less of is it or not or Christmas movie, is it or isn't. I think it just comes down to what is the tradition people have with it.
Sure.
In the end, that's what it is. I mean, we can go back and forth about debating things. I mean, even the guy that wrote the original book and the screenplay both say no, it's a Christmas movie. It doesn't work without it. But
okay.
people that Andy feels that that's not true.
Right.
So it comes down to a matter of perspective and a matter of opinion.
Yeah, and
Right.
Bruce
in
Willis
the end, man, if you have fun watching it at Christmas with your family, watch it at Christmas
Absolutely.
with your family.
Exactly.
If it's a
Yeah.
Christmas movie,
That's for
all
sure.
for you.
Yeah,
Don't-
absolutely.
So, 'cause in the end, nobody's wrong.
Right.
Don't
and
let-
I don't want to take away your family tradition of watching
Yeah.
Die Hard on Christmas. I don't want to ruin that tradition at all.
And it never would. And if there's one of those things, if you feel like it's would ruin it for you by people saying that it's not a Christmas movie, take a breath, step back, and
Right.
just enjoy the movie.
At the end of the day, it's a
Yeah.
movie. It's not that big of a
Just
deal.
enjoy
true.
it and sit back with your family, have some popcorn, and
Yeah.
enjoy it, whether it's on Halloween or Christmas. Just enjoy it.
Or Independence Day.
Because no matter what, Die Hard's a good movie.
That is very
Yes.
true. That is
Yes.
accurate.
It's Alec Rickman.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and just reveal the poll that you guys did on Facebook.
Oh, sure.
So I put it out pretty much, is it or is it not a Christmas movie? And an overwhelming, I want to say about 75% of you all said yes.
Okay.
And the remaining 25 said no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That tends to
it's-
be the general theme for most of the polls that end up getting put up online.
Did
is
we,
the
uh,
overwhelming majority usually say it is a
Were there any
Yeah.
interesting comments on the poll at all?
let me pull it back up. I just put it away.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
It's okay. The comment, I think it said something along the lines about, clarifying a Christmas movie, I believe is what it
Yeah.
said. And now my phone's being dumb. So, but if you guys want to take a look at what the actual comment is, just go into our Facebook page. It's Atomic Monsoon on Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
Alright, good deal.
all right, let's move on to some more interesting things that are not holiday themed.
Yeah, let's speak of movies. There's something I wanted to bring up that
Yeah.
was a ridiculous internet controversy this week.
Okay.
Oh.
Henry Cavill and Superman.
Oh, I heard he's not going to be Superman anymore.
Yeah, apparently everybody knee-jerk reaction because some random person on their blog or Twitter or something like that put up some kind of rumor saying that he was out as Superman, and every media organization just ran with it.
Yeah, that's
Oh, is it like how
And-
Kathleen Kennedy is not going to be a part of the Lucasfilm anymore? I make
Yeah.
a face.
It's one of those, they knee-jerk reaction it and put it out there as fact, and then WB and everybody else, or CW or WB, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Warner Brothers, yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. They, have to do all this damage control and things like that, where it's like, no, we still working with Henry Cavill, where there's no, just no. And I think what it ends up stemming from is that they're doing a lot of like Elseworlds kind of stuff with them doing the multiple Joker movies and things
Right.
like that, and trying to do some Birds of Prey things. And I think that they're kind of shopping around because there's so many Elseworlds DC stories.
Absolutely.
There's, literally 52 different universes in the DC universe that all
least.
have different things with different Supermen and everything else. And I think that they're maybe looking at doing one of those because I'd read, it's the internet, so rumors, you never know,
Right.
about them looking at possibly doing like a Red Sun, which is Superman where he, instead of falling down in Kansas, he drops in the middle of Cold War Russia.
Right.
And instead of having the S on his chest, he's got a hammer and sickle.
Right.
Just a completely different take on the Superman story. I also seen them talking about possibly doing one of the other, and I'm trying to remember, instead of L, his Zod, but where it would have been Michael B. Jordan playing a different version of Superman.
Oh, sure,
And,
yeah.
things like that. So I think that's kind of what they're looking at, is possibly doing some of those other stories, but not like, oh, this is our new Superman.
Right,
It just,
right.
And there was an overwhelming fan, like, why would you do this? Like,
Right.
what is going on here? And Henry Cavill posted just this weird cryptic thing on his Instagram where it's a song playing in the background, and he's just staring at the camera, and he brings up a doll that's a Superman of
Right.
him.
And he's wearing like a Krypton workout club shirt or something.
Yeah, Team Krypton or something like
Right.
that. Yeah, it's just one of those like weird, like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things. Like it unfortunately, it's a product of our current media where they report before verifying instead
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
verifying and then reporting.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Didn't your teacher ever teach you to do research before giving in your report?
But I have to be first, Stephanie. We have to have this news up first. We have to have this up before any other website has it.
yeah, and unfortunately, that's just a product of social media and things like that. They've got to
Yeah.
get those clicks, be like, oh, we had it first and we had the most hits, and everything. Or it's,
Right.
well, yeah, you might have the most hits, but you were completely inaccurate.
Right,
so.
but when those advertising dollars run in, they don't care how accurate they are.
Yeah,
and that's unfortunate because that kills
But
integrity.
if you're out there and you heard that Henry Cavill's now Superman, as of right now, he's still Superman.
He is
Right.
still Superman.
Yeah, there has
Now
been
that
no
could-
official word from Warner Brothers or Henry Cavill or his manager.
Yeah.
None of those have officially said he is not playing Superman anymore.
Yeah, and the last thing from his manager was, the cape is still in his closet.
Right.
And, just
Yeah.
little things like that. And with WB saying, we still have a working relationship with him. We love Henry Cavill. We
Right.
love working with him. We're fine. And I think it might just be one of those things where they had canceled several movies after Justice League, and they're trying to refigure out what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I feel like they've put stuff on hold fooled because they're waiting to see how Aquaman, Shazam, and Wonder Woman 84 do.
Right, that and now that he's cast as The Witcher, I can see the hey, he's
scheduling conflicts and things like that.
His cameo in Shazam apparently got canceled.
Yeah.
So
despite the fact that there's a ton, and I got fooled by it, there's a ton of Photoshop things out there where they took set photos from Batman, Superman, where he's dressed as Clark Kent.
Okay.
And they just set photos of the Shazam movie, and people look, here's a picture of his cameo. Nah, it's not real.
Okay.
I got fooled.
That's fair. Hey, listen, we can all. It's okay if we're wrong every once in a while.
Yep.
As long as you admit it.
Even if the overwhelming majority of the world disagrees with me about Die Hard and Christmas, that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. We're only
Everybody is entitled to their own opinion.
We're all allowed. Yeah. What's that saying? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Yes.
It's just mine's louder and dirtier than most people's.
I haven't heard that part.
Well, then one other little movie thing that I got is the movie, and I know you guys probably aren't interested in this because you don't like scary movies.
No.
What? Just looks off in a different direction. Like,
The Nun. Opened
yeah.
up with an amazing box office. It's supposed to be an amazing flick. I haven't gotten to go see that one yet because I spent last weekend watching Iron Fist 2, binging that, so I can give you guys a review on that a little bit later today.
Oh, excellent.
But I'm stoked to go see The Nun. I love the Conjuring universe, everything that James Wan has built with that and stuff, and I like that he did it enough to where he's got other directors coming in and being able to add to it and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're really good movies, and they've also announced that they're going to be doing a Conjuring 3.
Oh, interesting.
So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because I don't think it was like a planned thing to build this universe, but it just kind of
keeps
worked.
happening.
Yeah, they're just kind of like taking some of the stories from Ed and Lorraine Warren, and just kind of like, hey, these are some neat stories that they told, and we're gonna, just kind of build and embellish and kind of, and just make stuff. I mean, with like The Nun, it was something that James Wan threw into The Conjuring 2 as something that was, and it was an allegory to having Elaine Warren's faith tested.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be just not build this gigantic character around it, but it was just literally supposed to be something that was an iconic to try to test her faith in the movie itself, and it ended up turning into this character that people were really freaked out by and loved it.
And so why not make a prequel movie
exactly,
about it? Yeah.
Exactly. It's like the Annabelle. They hadn't had plans to make Annabelle movies, but people were with the first Conjuring wanting to know more about it, and and just how creepy that doll was and everything in that first Conjuring movie, and boom, suddenly we have the Annabelle series.
Yeah.
So it's a little contained universe that not as successful as the Marvel universe, but an unintentional contained universe that's doing well on its own. And for a horror universe, that completely out of left field, that's that's doing well, and all the movies we're not being like, oh my God, this is the best movie ever, but entertaining and well done for what they are. So I look forward to going to see that one here as soon as I can.
I won't. So that's just me. So.
What do we got? Anybody else got any good movie news?
I have no movie. Well, kind of. John Legend attained an EGOT. I know, Stephanie, you had more information on that.
So John Legend, Tim Rice, and Andrew Lloyd Webber all got EGOTs, which, if you don't know what an EGOT is, it's an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. And there's only a limited number of people in the world that have ever won all four.
I think after this year, I think it's 18 is the total.
Yeah, it's still a really small number.
Yeah.
But currently they got their EGOTs, and they got it because of the Jesus Christ Superstar they did earlier this year during Easter Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. So because of that, they now all have an EGOT, which is fantastic, especially for all three of them.
Mm-hmm. Still waiting for my boy Trey Parker to get his.
That's fine. And for John Legend, it's historically significant because he's the first black male person to earn an EGOT as well, which is that's super cool.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. That's a hell of an accomplishment. As much as I don't care about award shows, the fact that he's able to win the biggest award in these four categories, or the fact that any of these dozen and a half people are able to do so, that's awesome.
I mean, off the top of my head, I can only think of Whoopi Goldberg and Tom Hanks as other people that have done it.
Viola Davis also has hers. That was the actress I was trying to remember earlier.
Okay.
She is from How to Get Away with Murder, and she has her EGOT as well.
There's only a handful of people that are still alive that have those, so it's impressive.
And I know Tracy Jordan was trying to get one on 30 Rock for a while there, but
but no, I think that's great for all three of them, because I can actually kind of recall some of what John Legend's are, and Andrew Lloyd Webber's, I know he's mostly theater.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. That's like, you have an Oscar and you have a Grammy and you have it. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So that's great for all of them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Congratulations to all three of those gentlemen. Sticking with the award show, Kenan Thompson won his first, is going to be awarded his first Emmy this weekend. By the time you listen to this, probably will have already happened. I have been a fan of Kenan Thompson since about 1994 when he showed up on the Nickelodeon sketch comedy show All That.
All that.
Yeah, and then he and Kel Mitchell spun off into Kenan and Kel.
Yep.
They made the movie Good Burger, and Kenan Thompson was in Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah.
And he's been on Saturday Night Live for the last several years.
Yeah.
He's done a really good. He's done great for himself. He was even like on a couple of Nickelodeon shows like a few years ago.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I know he showed up for like all that reunions and stuff, and for someone that's been entertaining us for almost 25 years, the fact that this is his first award that he's winning feels a little unfair.
Feels a little late.
Yeah, but
I mean, he technically it's not his first award. It's his first like official Big Boy
Sure,
award.
right.
He's won.
I'm sure he's won a bunch of the Nickelodeon.
Kids' Choice and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
he's won all the
Right.
Kids' Choice Awards and the People's Choice Awards and the Teen Choice Awards.
Okay, fair enough.
So.
But the fact that he's won the first quote unquote real award.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Kenan. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
congrats,
You absolutely
dude.
deserve it. Thank you for the 20 plus years you've been entertaining me and making me laugh on Saturday nights, regardless of what show it's on.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Fair
Give it
enough.
up.
Yeah, he's always been fantastic. I've always had a soft spot for back in the day, All That show
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
But you don't realize how close I was to saying the Good Burger thing. Like, I was really close. Like, I'm not gonna do it.
And speaking of Emmys,
Yeah.
this another first-time Emmy winner is
Sure.
Rick and Morty. They won an Emmy for the Pickle Rick episode, which is an interesting episode for them to win of any of them.
Jeez,
but,
Rick, why did it have to be for that episode?
But I mean, hey, good on Dan Harmon and the crew. They got themselves an Emmy for Rick and Morty, and hopefully we'll be getting a new season here soon, depending on how quickly they can get it done.
Take another 2.5 years, it'll be fine. No, seriously, congratulations to those guys as well. Rick and Morty is smarter than most of its audience, and I definitely appreciate that about
Yes.
a lot of Dan Harmon shows, actually.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of those Adult Swim shows. I mean, they take like Venture Brothers.
Sure,
That's definitely
right,
one
absolutely.
Of those. It's
Yeah.
definitely too smart for the room kind of shows.
Yeah.
So, but it's fantastic, and I still think it needs to win an Emmy badly.
And I think, and congrats to all the people who've won Emmys so far, and
Yeah.
those that are going
Even
to be
those-
winning Emmys this weekend
Yeah.
on Sunday.
And even those that are just nominated, congratulations. You guys are doing fantastic work in your field, and you deserve to be nominated. Whether or not you win, you still deserve to be there. So congratulations for everybody.
For sure.
So.
I don't have any more award stuff, but I do have some TV stuff.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. I mean, TV, quote unquote, two of these are about streaming services. So let's start about the one that's actually television. Monday Night Raw, WWE's flagship television show, which has been running since 1993. It's the longest running episodic television show in history.
It's only since '93.
Yeah. Well, WWE's existed since the 1950s,
Yeah.
but Monday Night Raw started in January of 1993.
Wow,
But they've got well over 1,000 episodes. Anyways, it was announced this week that Jonathan Coachman will no longer be the third person in the announcer broadcast booth, and he will be replaced with Renee Young. Doesn't sound like a big deal, except that means that every week on Raw, there's going to be a woman doing commentary now, which is fantastic. It's definitely, now that Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon's daughter, has been taking clearly more and more of a leadership role in the company. They've been pushing the women's evolution
they've
along.
good.
Their
That's good.
women's wrestling quite a bit. Especially from when you and I were teenagers and watching
Right,
and stuff.
when it was
and,
all brawn panty and turkey bowl matches and stuff.
Like, even when they're doing the Stacy Keibler era and stuff like that, like, it still wasn't very, it was still mostly
you'd occasionally get Trish Stratus versus Lita, and that would be a cool match, but otherwise it was all
there was like
kind of
4 women that were involved.
Right.
And it's really evolved since then. So.
We've gone to the days of Trish and Lita and Jazz and maybe Chyna being the only decent female wrestlers, and Victoria and Ivory. I mean, there were a few, and Molly Holly, but there were just as many fashion models turned sports entertainers rather than like proper wrestlers at that time. And now, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, I think they're all wrestlers first. Or sports entertainers, superstars first, whatever term WWE is using
Sandwich
now.
artists.
Sure. Listen, they're all athletes first and
Yes.
models second.
Yeah.
And
And it wasn't always that way.
it was definitely not that way. And I'm actually very excited. WWE is doing their first all-female pay-per-view next month in October, calling it Evolution. They just started the Mae Young Classic for the second year in a row, which is an all-women, 32-woman tournament. And the finals for that will be at Evolution, and that's fantastic. And it's with them pushing more and more women's wrestling as something serious and not just a bathroom break or something to be titillating. Getting a woman on the commentary team is absolutely the right move.
Oh, yeah. And they kind of have a built-in audience for the women's wrestling anyway. No matter
Absolutely.
whether or not it was all guys up there, you still had a lot of women in the audience.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
there was definitely a built-in audience there. It's
Yes.
good to see them doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
I love Ronda Rousey, despite whether
Sure.
she's doing UFC or WWE.
Right.
She's still fun to watch.
Listen, I
doing
want
her
to
thing.
watch her potentially break somebody's arm, regardless of where she's doing
she's
it, right?
Fun.
Yep.
She's fantastic. I love her. So,
Yeah.
then there's plenty of the other girls that are doing it too, or women, sorry,
Sure.
that are doing it. That they're fantastic performers in
Mm-hmm.
their own right. So it's good to see them really get in the center stage.
So let's keep it on the girl power train there. The next the next bit of TV news I have is that She-Ra and the Princesses of Power dropped a trailer that will be streaming on Netflix, and the showrunner or head writer or whatever is Noelle Stevenson, who did the fantastic independent comic book Lumberjanes. I know, Josh, you're a big Masters of the Universe
Yes.
fan, so
Yes.
you probably have you watched the trailer? I mean,
I haven't watched the trailer yet. I saw
okay.
some of the early artwork on it, and I was
Yep.
kind of iffy about it because there's a couple of the characters that I was like, man, why'd you do that with that character?
Sure,
But, it's just one of those, keep an open mind
Right.
because it's a new show.
It's a new
see what
show
they do.
for a new
and I'm
generation,
interested to see
and-
what they do with the lore rather than the characters themselves.
Sure.
Just to see how they treat
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And I don't know, it'll be interesting. And I don't know, I'm definitely going to check it out when it comes out, see
Yeah.
what it's like.
Yeah.
And, I have new nieces now, so it'll be one of those things.
Oh.
Depending on how long it goes, it might be something that when they get a little bit older and start getting into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
something I
You
share
guys can
with them
watch
and
it
stuff.
together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it might be
That'd be
something
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. More girl power. I'm looking also hopefully that this will lead to new Masters of the Universe stuff.
Sure.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Which they also. Kind of side note, there's a documentary that I just saw pop up on Netflix.
Okay.
All about the history of the Masters of the Universe.
Oh, no kidding.
So something I'm definitely going to check out here.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a documentary about it, but I was scrolling through Netflix last night, and boom, there's Skeletor from the Masters of the Universe movie. I was like, that's not Masters of the what? Oh, it's a documentary. So yeah.
Watch my documentary, He-Man.
To be fair, it was from the movie. So it was,
the Frank Langella.
yes.
Yeah, I can't do that impression.
Man, despite what you want to say about the rest of that movie, he was amazing in that role.
Frank Langella and Raul Julia as M. Bison in the
Yeah.
Street Fighter movie, they're both just so over the top villains. That
Well, and then
it's-
you can even go to Alan Rickman in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, same kind of thing.
Oh, man, I
they
haven't watched that
embraced
movie
that
forever.
role,
Yeah.
whereas everything else around him was just like, oh my gosh, this is just terrible.
Right.
But them, oh man, because
Yeah.
Alan Rickman just embraced the campiness and over the topness of his character in that role.
It's Robin
Same with
Hood.
Frank Langella,
Yeah.
with Skeletor, he really embraced that
Yes.
role, and
Yeah.
he just kicked butt with that. The rest of the movie, you're kind of going, but
Yeah.
he gets on screen just like, oh.
Yeah.
So I just remember being enraptured when I was a kid, just going like, "Oh man, Skeletor's so cool."
Well, and then sticking with the 80s TV shows and cartoons, it was just announced that there's going to be a new Care Bears show called Unlock the Magic coming to the Boomerang streaming service. I think that this is interesting now that My Little Pony Friendship is Magic has kind of been, has been kind of trailing off the last couple of years. I don't know if they've announced an official end to that series yet, but its heyday is
I didn't even realize it was still going on.
okay, right. Yeah, I didn't mean heyday to be a pun. Listen, I watched the first few seasons of My Little Pony. My roommates got me into it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great kids show. And, if Care Bears can kind of pick up where that's left off for, like, the next generation of elementary school kids, I'm all for it,
Yeah.
That sounds
Sweet.
All this 80s nostalgia with the Care Bears and everything like that, She-Ra coming back.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that nobody's been like, hey, let's bring back the Cabbage Patch Kids.
I'm okay if they don't.
Well, there you
I'm
go.
just kind of surprised. Well, just for like the young, little kid market, just the dolls themselves.
Have they ever stopped making Cabbage Patch dolls? though?
Actually, yes.
Did they? Okay.
And remember, they also had the animal versions of them. their little like animal friends that were like the little humanoid lion looking thing. And
For
stuff like
Cabbage
that.
Patch Kids?
Yeah, they had little.
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly because my generation was like, these things are freaking creepy, and probably was like, no, we're not going to make them for our kids.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't tried to update the look on them and remarket them.
Yeah. If they updated the look, it might be fine.
Update the look a little bit and get some like product tie-in. Like, okay, so we're going to make a Wonder Woman Cabbage Patch Kid or a Captain Marvel Cabbage Patch Kid.
Thing is, at that point, you're competing with almost like Build-A-Bear and American Girl at that point.
Oh. Possibly, but there's still plenty. I mean, you go into those toy aisles, you can still. There's tons of different.
That's true.
Doll types and things like that. And
parents are going to buy what they played with as a kid for their kid to play with. So,
and that's the thing. You get in on this '80s nostalgia stuff with all these parents that are buying stuff for their kids now. And they go, Cabbage Patch. I remember my Cabbage Patch. I loved my Cabbage Patch, and then grab one for their kids. So,
although without Toys R Us, that might be a little bit harder.
Yeah, but the internet market though.
That's true. That's true.
All you got to do is partner with Amazon and have them throw it on their front page for a week, and boom.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be buying those again.
I got some TV news.
Yeah. What do you got? What you got?
So first, keeping it on the kind of like 80s, 90s comic stuff. Netflix dropped a trailer yesterday for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. From Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And so me, scrolling through Facebook, I see a post from a friend of mine saying, oh my God, Sabrina's back. And I'm like, oh good, they had like the new trailer for the new Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but with, the older version of Melissa Joan Hart and everything. And then I'm like, this isn't the same thing.
No.
Care to share with the audience what this is, guys?
Yeah, so is it, I'm going to butcher his last name, Roberto Aguirre Sacasca. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Close enough.
He took over as editor-in-chief of Archie a few years ago and kind of decided, hey, let's make Archie exciting again. Right, so they're not touching the double digest. You go to the supermarket, you still get your B&V digest, you get your Jughead, you get your Archie, and Tales of Riverdale, whatever, and that's great, right? But they also decided, hey, let's do some cool, different things with Archie, right? So they did The Married Life, and that was half the comic would be what happens if Archie marries Betty, and the other half is what if Archie marries Veronica. And that ran for 3 or 4 years, I want to say, before it finally ended with it ended with The Life of Archie, which was like a big, Archie died in both of these stories, and here's kind of the legacy of him. They did The Afterlife with Archie, which is a story where zombies attack Riverdale. So, it starts like any other Archie comic, except suddenly there's zombies. And
I wonder if that's what inspired the Scooby Apocalypse comics.
I'm sure it did.
Probably.
I'm sure it did, yeah. What was the other? Oh, Archie Meets the Predator was another fun one.
I read that one. That was fantastic.
Yeah, so that comes out of the same wheelhouse. And so Chilling Adventures of Sabrina comes off the success of Afterlife with Archie, where it was, hey, this kind of Walking Dead Archie mashup is working. What if we did something else with Sabrina since she's already a witch?
Yeah.
Right? Already have the horror overtones in that. So they rebranded Sabrina as kind of a Tales from the Crypt style comic. So each comic is a different story that Sabrina is either telling you or is involved in some way. And based on the success of Riverdale, where, hey, let's take the Archie characters and make them a teen drama instead of, just kind of 50s Americana today. Hey, let's do the TV version of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina as well.
And it's from the same people as Riverdale.
Are we going to have a bad animatronic cat in this one?
I saw a cat in the trailer. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know about Salem, okay?
I don't have a good answer for that. We don't know.
So
it's a very teasery trailer. There is the black cat, so Salem is definitely involved in it in some capacity. He may just be a cat in the background.
He may just be. But obviously it looks like it's not coming out till, it looks like later this year, if not next year. Yeah. So we don't really have a lot of information just yet. But then in other TV news, so this is kind of a big one toward me, but I can definitely see where you guys might be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Dancing with the Stars announced their cast for the 27th season. You heard me right. There's 27 seasons of Dancing with the Stars.
What?
Are they doing like multiple seasons a year?
So they do a spring and a fall season. This is the fall season.
Okay.
That makes far more sense.
There you go.
I think that show
has not been on since 1990.
Like, where's the pen?
No.
No. That show has not been on for as long as you think it has. No,
okay.
it's only, they've been doing like 2 seasons every year.
Okay.
This is their fall season. Their spring season this year was very small. It was like 4 weeks. It made me very sad. But they've announced the cast, so I thought I'd go ahead and read off some of the names they've announced.
Sure.
For any of you sports lovers out there, they've announced DeMarcus Ware from the Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
For any Disney Channel buffs, they've announced Milo Manheim. So he's from apparently this Disney Channel original movie named Zombies. This tells you that I am not up to date on Disney Channel because I don't know what the hell that is.
Yep.
This one's an interesting one. Danielle Umstead. She's a Paralympian who's blind.
Huh.
So this is going to be the first blind contestant on the show.
That's cool.
They've had deaf. They've had people with missing limbs. So this is...
Yeah.
Keep
Hey,
it up.
more power to him.
Yeah. Another one, this one I think you guys might enjoy. John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard. and
And Smallville.
in Smallville. He is Jonathan Kent in Smallville. That's
Okay.
where I know him best from.
Okay. I hope his dance move involves him jumping over the hood of a car.
I guarantee that
The
I
first
have him
dance.
slide across
The first dance is
Yeah.
going to be the Duke of Hazzard.
Yeah,
As long as there's
he'll
one.
slide across the
Yeah.
car hood at some point.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. I got a
It'd
list
just be
here.
a travesty if he doesn't.
Another they've announced is Juan Pablo de Pace. You may know him as Fernando from Fuller House.
Oh, fantastic.
So Netflix's Fuller House. That's Kimmy Gibbler's husband.
Okay.
Then Nikki Glaser, the comedian.
Okay.
Oh,
And
all
then
right.
last but not least, and this is for all you nerds out there, so make sure you tune in and support her, but Ivana Lynch, also known as Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter.
Okay.
Nope. Okay. I'm going to leave now. Bye, guys.
I know nothing about Harry Potter. I've never seen the movies or read the books.
So
Anything.
that's not all of them. There's like 4 or 5 other
Me
celebrities I
neither,
didn't
but I was
list.
playing along.
Oh, yeah.
Gee,
Harry
thanks,
Potter.
guys. Thanks, guys. But yeah, no, there's like 4 or 5 other people that I didn't list off. So it's gonna be a packed season. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, no,
So-
it's gonna be. I'm gonna have to tune in just so I can see the Duke slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, I'll send it to you.
Fantastic.
And then the last bit of news that I have toward TV, and this one isn't really news. It's kind of been out, like the trailer for it's been out for a while, but I'm only bringing it up because every time I keep seeing this trailer, it's intriguing me more and more to watch it.
Okay.
There's a show on NBC called New Amsterdam.
I
Okay.
haven't heard of that one yet.
It is about, apparently it's based on a true story, but apparently what it's about is a hospital that says, screw the rule book, screw the payment system, let's just be doctors.
Okay.
Meaning meaning if the people can't afford it, if the people, if it literally if you're worried about your paycheck, you're going to be fired. If it's about the money, you're going to be fired. That means helping the people, even if it means, the worst. And I'm sitting here going like, I've never really been a big fan of anything that comes off NBC, but you've intrigued me with this trailer.
Yeah, interesting.
So-
Interesting.
Now I know Old New York was once New Amsterdam, but why they changed it, I can't say. I guess they just liked it better that way.
Maybe I don't know the full story behind it, but based off the trailers I've seen, I'm like, this is very intriguing. It's along the lines of like the show Rise, which is about like the theater kids, the
Okay.
theater world. So
Like 4 people are going to get the joke that I just made, but they're going to love it.
Yeah.
Yep, and I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
A slight NBC tie-in here. Did you guys ever see the show Grimm on NBC?
No, but I know what it is.
Okay.
No, I don't watch
okay. Well, it was a show for several seasons on NBC. It was,
Okay.
based loosely off the Brothers Grimm stories
Sure,
and things like
right.
that. Well, CW announced actually that the lady that played the wife in Grimm, her name is, and I'm probably going to butcher her last name, Elizabeth Tulloch. I'm not sure how to say her last
Sure.
name. Tulloch.
Sure. Tulip looks good.
That she has actually been cast as Lois Lane in this
Oh.
December's Arrowverse crossover.
Nice. Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see. I'm a little iffy on this one. I don't know
Sure.
if she's quite got the gravitas to pull off Lois Lane. I mean,
Well-
this is Lois frickin' Lane.
True.
In
So we'll
fairness,
see, we'll
she's
see.
an actress, and maybe the character she played in Grimm just didn't call for
And that's
Lois
true.
Lane type roles, right?
It could very well be that
Yeah.
just that was not, the role that would be showing her as Lois Lane. So we'll see.
Right.
So I'm not, like, oh no, she can't be it. But,
Right.
I'm iffy on it.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting because this is the crossover where they're introducing Batwoman and Ruby Rose's Batwoman
right.
and everything. So
Nice.
it'll be interesting to see this one. It should be a huge because it's.
I feel
the
like we talk
CW
about this
event.
crossover every week.
Well, it's because it's going to be amazing.
There's a new announcement every week.
I'm
There's true.
hyped for it because it's
They're getting everybody hyped.
Yeah,
They are, and then they keep putting out new stuff that hey, we're introducing this character, we're doing this, we're doing that. So it'll be interesting to see how that crossover goes. But I'm hyped for it, and it'll be interesting to see how she is as Lois Lane because That's some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Those
in
are
that
some
role,
fact
so-
very big shoes.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
Speaking of DC Comics and crossovers and stuff, so we record on Fridays, but starting tomorrow, September 15th, the DC Universe streaming platform is launching.
Yes.
And I was taking a look at some of the stuff that's coming out. It's actually already available on, there's already an Android app that you can download right now. And you can sign up on DCUniverse.com. I don't know if you have access to it. I didn't didn't want to pull out my credit card while I was sitting at my work desk.
Fair enough.
I took a quick look and instantly, right away, I don't know if there's every episode or whatever, but Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Justice League, Young Justice, and Static Shock are all available right away. The 1978 and 1981 Superman 1 and 2, the 2009 animated Wonder Woman movie, the Superman Shazam Return to Black Adam, Green Lantern First Flight, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, still the best Batman movie for my money.
Yeah.
Holy
immediately
shit.
available. Constantine, The Adventures of Superboy, Birds of Prey, Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman, the 1990 Flash, the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, instantly available. Again, maybe not every single episode right away.
Do they have the Shazam ISIS Hour?
It wasn't on there right now.
Okay.
But they do have to hold off on something. So maybe when the Shazam movie comes
Yeah,
out.
that might be
What about
Right,
those? What about the Teen Titan movies and Teen Titans?
So
I know a lot of them on there. I saw like the Death of Superman, which was one of the newer ones
Yep.
that came out. That's on there. So if they're not on there yet, I imagine they will be soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
There's
and
probably
I-
some of them that have streaming contracts with other things for right
probably.
now. They've got to
Right,
wait for that
right.
stuff
And,
to
this is the list of what's available right now.
Jesus
this
Christ.
is launch, right? When I subscribed to the WWE Network, which started in 2014, it started with all the pay-per-views available, but only like the last few months of weekly shows.
okay.
But now that we're 4 years in, every episode of Monday Night Raw, every episode of SmackDown, every episode of WCW Nitro and Thunder, their B show, like, almost every episode of ECW ever is on there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if WWE Network is the over-the-top model that the DC Universe over-the-top service is going to be taking, give it 4 years and literally everything will be on there.
I'm actually a little
Christ.
looking forward to going back and watching the John Wesley ship Flash.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
loved that show when I was a kid.
I remember watching it a little bit as a
so
kid.
excited every week waiting
Yeah.
for Flash to come on.
Yeah.
And was so devastated when they canceled it.
And it only lasted a season or two, right?
Yeah,
it didn't last
wasn't on
very
for very long,
Yeah.
no, unfortunately.
The other thing that's great about the DC Universe app is that not only are you getting all the animated stuff and the movies and the TV shows and blah, 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 they're also including much of the DC Nation shorts that ran on Cartoon Network, kind of between shows from the last few years.
Yes.
Not all of those are up there yet that it looked like, but again, this doesn't actually launch until tomorrow,
Yeah.
so who
We don't
knows?
know yet.
I wonder if they're going to have
Right.
Smallville on there.
I'm sure eventually,
Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know Smallville's still streaming a couple places, so
Yeah.
it could be once these
Fingers
contracts start
crossed.
expiring.
My
There
fingers
was
are crossed.
a ton of streaming stuff they did on Smallville, especially because it was right in the beginning of the internet when that
Right.
show, you know what I mean? Like that show, literally, like as the internet was growing, that show was on. So
Right.
I remember them having like little webisodes and stuff.
Yeah,
that were
yeah.
Waiting for like, oh my gosh, this needs to render. Hurry up already. 5 minutes so I can watch a little like weekly weird news thing with
And
Chloe
it's
on there.
30
Yeah.
seconds long or whatever.
Literally
Yeah.
like a minute and a half long.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's great.
But the other thing that's super exciting about this streaming service is it's not just the TV shows and movies and stuff. It's a comic archive as well.
Yeah.
Right. And I was going through, and a lot of them, there's only between 1 and 10 issues available. But it's
That's just to start with, though.
just to start with. Batman, Superman, Green Arrow, Flash, Teen Titans, Batman,
Yeah.
Batman, right? It's the entire Batman family of everything. There's at least a couple of issues available. All the Teen Titans stuff, all the Superman stuff. And as I was going through, the page kept loading. I was skimming through for 3, 4, 5 minutes, and
Oh my
new
God.
stuff, new comics kept popping up. So
Yeah.
there were literally more things than my browser could handle initially.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You got anything, Josh?
TV wise, I'm going to do this real briefly because we're getting down to the wire here. We still got a few things that I want to throw out there. TV, Iron Fist Season 2, Netflix.
Yes.
Watch it.
Okay.
If you even slightly enjoyed the first one, even just a little bit,
Okay.
watch Season 2. I felt it was much more well done. They had much better character development. The choreography was better. Special effects seemed a little bit better. It was improvement everywhere that I wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
And the introduction of Typhoid Mary was really interesting, the way they did it, the way they
Okay.
handled her character, and it looks like that she might be possibly coming back for Daredevil Season 3, maybe. We'll see. They kind of
Okay.
left it open-ended a little bit with her character, so hopefully we're going to see her come back a little bit more. And, it'll just be really interesting to see what they do with it. But it was a fantastic season. Definitely go watch that if you get the chance.
Nice.
Comic book news. DC announced a couple new series that are going to be starting pretty soon. Martian Manhunter is getting a 12-issue limited series.
Okay.
With Steve Orlando and Riley, I'm saying it's probably Rossmo.
Okay.
And then we're going to get a 12-issue Freedom Fighters miniseries, which is good old Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters.
Yeah.
And this is going to be written by Robert Venditti and the artist Eddie Barrows.
Okay.
And it's going to be starting in December. So, keep your eyes out for those. Freedom
Yeah.
Fighters were always, a lot of fun.
I like that DC's bringing back the 12-issue maxi series for
Yeah, and I think that's fantastic. Just throw out some music because you get a little bit of story for characters that don't get a whole lot of love, but still have a fan base there.
Well, it makes me excited because hey, if it's only going to be 12 issues, I could throw it on, $3-4 a month for a 12-issue series, right?
Yeah, and then you also, you get an open-ended story that way. It's you get
Right,
the
there's a
actual
beginning, a
arc
middle,
that
and an
you're
end.
waiting for. Yeah. And characters like Martian Manhunter, which have a fan base, but don't necessarily have a fan base to justify a monthly series.
Right.
Okay, we'll do a 12-issue series on it.
No Martian Manhunter series is going to last 50 issues, but
Yeah.
12? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's great. And then the big news that I had here was actually video game news.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that Nintendo Direct was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And
Yeah.
there was a ton of information that was released on there.
Okay. Can we squeeze it all into 3 minutes?
I can, real
Okay.
quick. All right, we've got a NES Vault. They're going to be releasing a ton of NES games
So excited
on
for that.
the Switch that you're going to be able to download, play on your Switch, all over the place. They are releasing NES controllers that are actually the original NES controllers that link straight onto the spot where your Joy-Con connects on your Switch for charging, everything like that. And it's the original controller, same size, everything like that.
I don't
for use
need
with the
more
NES
Switch
Vault.
controllers, but I kind of want one.
Do it.
I'm still just because of that. Though there's a little caveat though. You have to have a subscription to the online service to be able to order the controllers because they're trying to keep scalping down to a minimum. So it's literally you can get one set of the controllers per online account.
Okay, well,
So, which is scalpers
Given-
still going to be able to take advantage of that by making multiple accounts, but it's going to be costing them more money than they'll be making back on the
I did
controllers.
see a thing. I got an update from Nintendo that they are hard linking your Nintendo account to your Switch from now on.
Yeah.
So you can't. They're going to cut down on multiple accounts on
Yeah,
Switches. They're
and
going to
they're
cut
trying
down.
to do a lot with the pirating and stuff
That's
like that,
good.
and
That's good.
the rampant,
Yep.
aftermarket. And with online subscriptions, it's only $20 a year.
Oh, that's.
So that is.
I have
big
$20 in my
time.
wallet right now. I
Yeah,
just
and it's
shove it into my
you can
Switch.
do like the monthly if you want for like $3. It was like
Yeah.
$3 or $4
Yeah.
for a month, and
Yeah,
then the
to try
$20
it
for a
out,
year.
yeah.
Another big thing is that they're releasing a bunch of the old side scroller beat 'em ups, and the one that had me excited
Yes.
was Knights of the Round.
Oh man,
I
so
love that
this
game.
Capcom beat 'em up bundle, man. I am so hyped. I'm a huge Capcom nerd, admittedly,
Yeah.
right? Especially the old school stuff. Yes, Final Fight, King of the Dragons, Knights of the Round, Captain Commando, right? And a bunch of games like Eco Warriors and stuff that never got home ports at all, right? Knights of the Round is great. I have that on my Capcom Classics collection on the PS2. I am super excited to get an online working version of King of Dragons, though.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
game.
and that's the other thing with those NES games.
Yes.
Co-op online.
Yes.
You can literally play Dr. Mario with your friend in Japan.
Yes.
It's
Wow.
Yeah.
they're taking all those old school games, like a balloon fight with somebody across the world. Hello, thank you.
Yeah.
That's something big. They've also got, we're running down to the final wire here. Luigi Mansion 3 is going to be coming out to the Switch. Luigi Mansion Remaster with co-op on the 3DS.
Nice.
They also announced, and this is going with Xbox as well. These are all coming out for Xbox and Switch at the same time, same days. We're going to be having Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remaster, Final Fantasy XII Remaster, Chocobo Mystery Dungeon, Final Fantasy Maxima, and they're all coming to Xbox and Switch.
Jesus. So Square decided they wanted to make money again.
Yeah, they decided to be like, hey, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and open this up to everybody.
I hope there's a certain Kingdom Hearts that's going to come to it soon.
Well, they have to fund that game somehow, right?
Duh.
We'll see what happens with that. And then one final thing at the end of the day is Bethesda's Pete Hines came out and said they're absolutely going to be making a Wolfenstein 3.
Oh, okay.
So
Very nice.
That's
Okay.
not necessarily being made right this second, but they
Sure.
are going to be making Wolfenstein 3. A lot of people were questioning about that after, because it had the second one was a
Sure.
modicum success,
Sure.
not as much as the first one, but it still has a installed player base. So,
Very nice.
I will admit I'm not the biggest first-person shooter fan, but I am all in favor of killing Nazis.
well, and the Wolfenstein games are so good.
Sure, yeah.
They're just they really turned a corner and made those games fantastic.
I have one last little bit of news. Do we have 20
have
seconds?
we have enough time for you to finish that, and then we have got to go.
Sony has finally decided that they are no longer offering repair services for the PlayStation 2.
Wah, wah.
Which is weird to say in 2018, considering the thing came out in holiday season 2000. But as I read that article just real quick, the PS2 launched in 2000, the PS3 launched in 2006, and Sony didn't stop manufacturing the PS2 until 2012, 6 years after the PS3 came out.
Yeah.
And now the only reason they're not servicing it anymore is because they're running out of parts.
Which is weird.
Fair
They
enough.
can just run to their local Goodwill and
Right.
buy 30 of the things for $2 each. But
Over 156 million PlayStation 2s have been sold. It's not that big of a deal, but it is kind of sad, and I kind of want to stockpile them.
I mean,
just
I already
for
got
parts,
mine,
right?
so.
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
So, all
All right,
right.
everybody. Well,
Thank you guys so much for listening in on our new episode. Just follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Not Instagram. Pff, we don't have an Instagram. Yet. Gotta get another mobile device. But Facebook and Twitter at Atomic Monsoon. You can also email us at atomicmonsoon@gmail.com. Yes. And we have merchandise, guys.
Oh, that's right. I set up a Redbubble store for us. If you go to atomicmonsoon.redbubble.com, you can buy Atomic Monsoon shirts and clocks and mugs and stuff.
So do it. So I've been one of your hosts, Stephanie, and I'm off to my high school's homecoming game.
I'm Andy, and I'm just going to go watch bad kung fu movies tonight.
oh, yeah, my name's Josh. I'm going to go nerd out all weekend.
Let's do it.
You guys have a good one. We'll talk to you next time.
See you guys. Bye-bye.